So I'm tasked with taking this cheap Chinese engine from Northern Tool and turning it into a cheap Chinese Kohler. Let's see here. Yep. Crafted in China. These things have been having major issues. They keep popping head gaskets. This is a known issue with these. We had those in the Toro GTX carts, and looking around on Facebook and the other golf course websites and stuff, major issues with these popping head gaskets. And the unfortunate problem is there's this little tiny sliver of material between an oil passage and the cylinder. So what happens is the head gasket pops, and then either the combustion gases pressurize the crankcase and blows oil out through the breather and into the intake, oil consumption, or it just sucks oil directly into the cylinder. So one way or the other, doesn't matter. Ends up burning up oil, and then you end up with an issue where she runs low on oil and tears up the crankshaft and connecting rod. My engine dealer said when he dropped this thing off, said this is the last one that his distributors had in inventory in the country. I don't know how true that is, but I know at least one other golf course mechanic out here was looking for one, and I got this and not him. So sorry for him. Overall, I actually kind of think that both these engines are probably made by the same company in China. This is probably to Kohler specifications, and then this is just a generic replacement engine. I have to this taper on the end of this crankshaft. Got to put taper on this one, and the difficulty is this is 28 millimeter, this is an inch. So figure out how I want to do that. On the book, on the advertisement or whatever, it said the crankshaft was cast iron, which I'm 90% sure it's not. I drilled a little test hole there. Doesn't drill like cast iron. Doesn't have the little graphite in it. So it might be cast steel. I'm pretty sure it's not cast iron. I don't think they'd make this out of cast iron anyway. Good way to just have it randomly crack and break off. You know, could definitely be cast, but like I said, I don't think it's cast iron. So I might build this up, cut it off, stick it over there on the lathe, and turn the taper on it, or who knows. We'll see how I figure out how to. Alright, so what I have going on here is I have a dial indicator mounted up on my tool post, and I cut off the end of the old crankshaft so I can set the compound up to cut the taper. And you can see I have that dialed in pretty good there. Hardest part about this is trying to get the dial indicator set up directly on center line. That way, as you move the compound back and forth, you're not hitting a different part of the taper and getting an incorrect reading and setting it up incorrectly. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get the other crankshaft. I'm going to set up the steady rest on the lathe with the crankshaft before I weld on it. That way I can use the bolt hole on the end to help support it on the center here, and hopefully get it set up on the steady rest pretty accurately before I okay, I got the crankshaft welded up. I just finished machining it. Tapped the end. Got the taper turned on it. I put high spot blue on the clutch and stuck the clutch on here just to verify that I had the correct taper. And it's fine. Now, time to get it in the engine and stuff the engine in a cart. Alright, I got the engine in. Everything's working. You can see I had to make an adapter for the exhaust, but that's fine. Most everything else worked out well. The oil sentry on this does not play well with having to start and stop. It takes a few seconds for it to notice there's oil and then allow the engine to fire, and that's bloody annoying. So unfortunately I had to disconnect the oil sentry, which also explains why the original engines did not have an oil sentry. So that's just going to end up being the way that it was. The clutches run through the whole entire range. The throttle cable, I tried putting a little ball stud here on it, and then there's a black plastic piece that clips over, hold it in place. It broke. Didn't use any tools. Broke under finger pressure. Fortunately, they have another way you can hook up a throttle cable here. So that's what I did. I ended up cutting the end off of it and stuffing it in here. And even this little bracket here, they had a hole there, self-tapper. Hopefully that holds in there. We'll see. I have to come up with another solution if it doesn't. But can you turn one of these Northern Tool Ironton engines into a golf cart engine? Absolutely. Wasn't even that hard to do. Time consuming because it's the first one I ever did. Took me a while to figure out all the little bits and bobs and what I did have to modify and what I didn't. But yeah, pretty cool. I'm going to take it out, run it around, and see how she goes.